Hi everyone, Jill here. Welcome back to Whispering Willow Farm. We are nestled in the kitchen this morning and we are going to be making a homemade fire cider. Fire cider is a fantastic herbal remedy, natural remedy, really just to be immune boosting, and it also has a lot of energizing properties to it as well. And so I'm going to be following a recipe from the Herbal Academy. I do all my herbal courses through them. They have a lot of really great resources on their blog. I am going to be modifying their recipe a bit, but I will put the link down below. That way you guys can kind of follow along if you want to make it or stick to the exact recipe. And I do want to tell you guys on the front end of this video, they are running a back to school sale, meaning 30% off of all of their herbal courses right now, which is wild. So if you want to check that out, the link's going to be down in the description. But the reason that we are making fire cider today is that my kids are starting back to school and we are already a little stuffy with the changing seasons, and I like to just be proactive. So when taking a natural approach to wellness, I have found kind of the key to success is to make sure that at the onset of some sort of ailment, you are addressing it, and frequently and often. But herbal remedies are so great. A lot of the things that we're using as far as holistic medicine is derived from the earth. You can forage it. We actually grow a lot of these medicinal herbs here on our farm, but the fire cider is great because one, you can modify the recipe so easily to meet the needs of your family and who it is that you're wanting to serve it to. But it is fantastic for immune boosting. I find at the first onset of sniffles or cold-like symptoms, take fire cider and man, it is just gonna be so fantastic and it's gonna really nip it in the bud. So let's gather all of our ingredients. I will be sharing with you guys all of the health benefits and the properties that come with this. So let's get started. Hope you guys have your coffee and we're ready to make some fire cider. So for the recipe, we have a few base things which are kind of non-negotiables, if you will. You should probably put them in there, but then there's so much flexibility. So some of those non-negotiables is you're going to want to use an organic apple cider vinegar. You want to make sure you have some sort of onion, ginger root, horseradish. Those pack a punch and have so much nutritional value when it comes to being immune boosting, just the properties in those things. So that's kind of always the base that I stay with is an onion, ginger root, horseradish root, or turmeric root. I don't have turmeric root, so I'm actually going to omit it for a turmeric powder. But then there's a lot of flexibility as far as what else you add in there. And so today I'm actually going to be adding cinnamon sticks. I'm going to be adding thyme. I'm going to be even adding lavender flowers. And the reason that I'm doing that is that I want this to be something I can give my kids. If you've ever had fire cider, you know it packs a punch. It's not delightful, but it serves a purpose. So I have been trying to tweak my recipe to where my kids enjoy it. And so just adding little floral notes from some lavender flowers or even just a little bit of cinnamon to have it be something that they're a bit more familiar with is something that is worth doing in my opinion. So I don't have very many. I just have got, 4 little lavender buds here I'm going to add. And I'm probably just going to add a couple sticks of cinnamon. But again, you can really kind of play around with this. So we've got cinnamon. I've got black peppercorns, which we will grind down. I've got a lemon, an onion. You can use a red onion. We've got garlic cloves. We've got horseradish root, ginger root, turmeric powder. I've got thyme, organic apple cider vinegar. For this recipe, you're going to need 1 large onion. I'm using a sweet onion because it's just what we have here on the farm. You can also use a red onion, but onions are great. So they're a part of the allium family, which is very similar to your shallots, your leeks, your garlics, but they're so important in your fire cider because they're antimicrobial, antiviral, antioxidant, immune enhancing, and anti-inflammatory. And they also enhance the action of vitamin C. So you definitely want to make sure that you are including an onion in your fire cider recipe because my goodness, these things certainly pack a punch and serve a great medicinal purpose. Next, you're going to chop up 3 garlic cloves. You are going to take your lemon and chop it up. I am cutting the ends off here and just tossing those. Then I'm cutting these and dicing them up. You might also notice that I am leaving the rind and the peel on here. These actually have a lot of health benefits, and so I'm just going to finally cut these up and toss them in with the rest of our ingredients. Next, you are going to grate a 1/2 cup of ginger. I did find that this was a pain, so I actually switched to finely chopping, and I think it worked really well. But ginger is warming. It's going to stimulate circulation of the blood. It's also traditionally used in Chinese medicine to break up congestion throughout the body. So that's going to be your lungs and your nasal passages. It can also help break fevers by warming up your body and really just increasing your sweating. And so it's a powerful anti-inflammatory. It's going to stimulate immune system, and it's also going to help soothe nausea. Next up, I am adding 2 teaspoons of ground turmeric. If you are wanting to use fresh turmeric, you can just go ahead and grate or finely chop a 1/2 cup. Now we are on to the horseradish. I used a 1/4 cup of fresh horseradish. You can see here I am peeling it because this was literally just harvested from the ground, so it's really dirty. If you find your horseradish root dirty, you can go ahead and peel it as well. You can try to grate it a 1/4 cup. I just decided to go ahead and finely chop based off of my experience with the ginger. Horseradish strongly stimulates the digestive fire, so it's going to increase that gastric secretion and appetite. It also promotes perspiration, making it useful to use in fevers. Again, this is why we're making this for cold and flu. It's mildly antibacterial. It's often used not only for respiratory but also for urinary tract infections. So it's one of those that can be super versatile, and it's just really great to have on hand. Next up, I'm going to ground my fresh peppercorn, about 2 teaspoons. Once you have prepared all of your ingredients, we now are going to start adding them to our glass vessel. I've got a quart mason jar here. I've added my onions at the bottom, my ginger and horseradish, my garlic. I'm now adding in some lemons. Don't forget about all of our seasonings. So we've got our black pepper going in. I'm going to add my turmeric powder. I've got some thyme. Of course, you can omit this with some other sort of medicinal herb if you have it on hand. Now I'm going to add some cinnamon sticks. You could also use ground cinnamon. I just had these cinnamon sticks readily available, so I decided that I would use those. And then I'm adding my lavender bud. This is going to add a little bit of a floral note. It's going to kind of cut through some of the fiery punch that is in this to just tone it down a little bit for my girls. Now we are going to add our organic apple cider vinegar. The most important thing here is to just make sure all of your ingredients are covered really well. So you'll notice here I'm actually taking a spoon and I'm trying to push all of those herbs underneath that apple cider vinegar. That way they can infuse really well and they're not getting moldy or anything as they float to the top. All right, we have officially made our fire cider. You want to store this in a warm place, so I'm actually going to keep this on the back of my fridge. This is what the Herbal Academy recommended, and you want to shake it daily, but the longer this sits, the better that it is. For a minimum, leave it for at least a few weeks if you don't actually need it, and this is more just like a precaution for immune boosting health. Make sure that you just let it sit, you know, the longer that it sits. Of course, mine's kind of bland. I didn't use any sort of like cayenne peppers or jalapeno peppers, so there's a lot of different things you could use. Again, I kind of modified my recipe so that my children didn't give me too big of fits. But here you have it. Here is fire cider. I hope you guys enjoyed all of the health benefits that I shared with you guys throughout making this. And again, really the biggest part of this is just preparing the ingredients. Other than that, this is super, super easy. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Don't forget, if you want to check out Herbal Academy and some of the sales that they're having, the link is down in my description. But thank you guys for hanging out. I'll talk to you soon.